Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Farzy Show. My name is Marc Farzetta here from the Steven Singer Studios, and the Farzy Show is presented, as always, by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. Happy baseball season. Yesterday was opening day across all of Major League Baseball, and then today here in Philadelphia, it's opening day for your Philadelphia Phillies. How about that coming into huh? We got things underway. Can't wait for that to happen for the Phillies today. 3:05 start time against the Oakland Athletics. And just remember this, that at 3:05 today, Doc Rivers can't hurt you. Just remember that. At 3:05 today, because the Sixers don't play at any point today. They're back in action tomorrow afternoon against the Pacers. But today, at 3:05, you'll just be thinking baseball. You'll be thinking our man Dan Baker from yesterday. Michael Barkan joins the show today, the Phillies pre- and post-game host for NBC Sports Philadelphia. A dear friend of mine will join us to help us get ready for Phillies baseball and opening day today. But just remember, at the same time, as you're enjoying all that is baseball, just take a second to realize that at that moment, Doc Rivers and the rest of the 76ers can't hurt you anymore. Not at least for today. Today is baseball. We enjoy baseball. And the Masters, Tigers won under par. Had that epic putt on 16 yesterday in the Masters. It was nice. It was beautiful. And then we were exposed to the 76ers last night. So that's where we are in life today. I am very thrilled that we get to watch baseball today, that we get to watch our Phillies. But I have such a horrible taste in my mouth from last night. I am beyond convinced, and you guys know I've been building to this point for a couple of weeks. I know a lot of people love to jump to the fire the coach. Fire. I ain't that guy. I'm not, look at the coach. Get rid of the coach. Like, I'm not that guy. The coach isn't on the floor playing to state all the obvious things that all the people that said you shouldn't fire Doc Rivers, all the people that said, you shouldn't fire Brett Brown, all that. The people right now need to realize that Doc Rivers and the 76ers are a horrible match. And if this is how horrible it is. And I know this is for all the people that just like to throw things against the wall and see what sticks and try to make a career out of that. For me, I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to tell you something unless I really believe it. I would not have a problem if right now, when the Sixers got back from Canada and they meet in Camden at their facility, I would not have a problem if right now the Sixers and Doc Rivers said, you know what? It's been real. What, the playoffs are in like a week? No, see ya. I would not have a problem if right now the Sixers and Doc Rivers announced that they are agreeing to part ways. Mutual. Right before the playoffs? Yes, right before the playoffs. You know why? Because it's never been more obvious to me that you have a coach that has quit on his team and a team that has quit on their coach. Neither party wants to be together anymore. It has never been more obvious to me than right now, watching the Sixers play under Doc Rivers, that these guys don't want to play for him and he doesn't want to coach these guys. So why would I want to take that into the playoffs? Why would I want that to happen? Now, what I'm saying is just what should happen, but in a million years, it'll never happen. Dan Burke should be able to take over the responsibilities as the Sixers head coach going forward, because I think they actually want to play for them. And it's not necessarily that Burke is some genius by any means. I think it's just a matter that the team would then take it upon themselves to make sure they put in that effort every night, because it's 100% on them. But what's going to happen? Sixers are probably going to get bounced out if they're lucky in the second round, because the other person I'm pretty pissed off at is James Harden, who has not really brought a lot to the table over the last couple of games. 15 assists last night. That's amazing, right? Oh, that's so great. And it is. But I thought we got rid of a guy who was a great facilitator and gained a guy who's supposed to be a great facilitator in James Harden. So I know we got the facilitating part. That part was good. That part's even keel, right? But we were also supposed to get a top scorer. A guy, like I said before they made the trade for James Harden, if they're going to make a trade and bring in somebody to trade Ben Simmons, I want a guy that's going to push Joel Embiid for the leading scorer of this team, a guy that's going to be that 25 points per night, 20 points per night at the very least every single night, and James Harden has not been that guy. Another 2 for 8 performance from the floor last night. The fact they only shot 8 shots is ridiculous, but another rough night for him. The assists are great. But you got a guy, you can send a guy away in Ben Simmons who could facilitate, get you 10 to 15 assists, whatever. And that was great. That was fine. But he was also an elite defender, second, the runner-up in the Defensive Player of the Year category. But when it comes to shooting the basketball, James Harden was supposed to be, first off, a guy that would shoot. And 8 shots by James Harden standards is not shooting. And also a guy to hit that shot with consistency, which James Harden has not done, especially over the last couple of games with the 76ers. It has been very, very rough to watch. Matisse Thybulle, as much as I love him, as much as I think he's great, everything he does is great, they needed him last night. And Doc said after the game, oh, this loss tonight, they had nothing to do with Matisse. Huh? Your opponent shoots 52% from beyond the arc, and one of your best perimeter defenders, your best perimeter defender isn't there to defend the perimeter. And that opposing team goes bonkers from beyond the arc, and it's got nothing to do with Matisse Thybulle not playing in the game. It's got a little something to do with Matisse Thybulle not playing in the game. Oh my goodness! What these losses are just they're amplified for me is what they are, because I watch these games. I've been watching these last couple of games that I've told you with my in-laws in town. And they're the Cavs fans, they're from Cleveland and all that, and they'll hear about the Sixers being so great and James Harden being so great and everything's great, and then they sit down on the sofa next to me and they're like, "Oh, that Embiid's only 10 for 27. That's interesting. 10 for 24 was he last night? Oh, James Harden is not really shooting. Yes, thank you. It's not going well. Wow, the Raptors can't miss. Thank you. I honestly would not blame the Sixers at all if they just said it was time to go their separate ways from Doc Rivers right now with 2 games left in the regular season. And I know that sounds nuts. Hey, thanks for getting us through the regular season, Doc. You want to flirt with the Lakers a little bit more? See ya. We're done. To me, these guys these 2 parties have to part ways. I don't know how Doc Rivers doesn't foul at the end of that game. They inbound the ball with about 14 seconds left. And Kate Scott on the broadcast, Ala Abdelnabi on the podcast, on the broadcast, they're both like you could hear the dumbfoundedness, like confusion doesn't even say it, dumbfoundedness. It was like a cartoon where somebody gets hit in the head with a frying pan and they're just looking dazed and wildly confused. And they're not fouling. 4-point game, granted, they're not fouling. And I'm looking at Doc on the sidelines. I'm like, is he upset? Is he angry? And he's just doing this, just crossing the arms, sitting back, looking out onto the court, kind of wondering what's happening. And after the game, I got a clip. There's like nothing that Doc said after the game that really like jumped out at me to be like, oh, what the hell? Other than the Matisse Thybulle thing that kind of pissed me off. But he looked like a guy who had no idea what just happened. It was like he was being questioned by police, and he was like nowhere near the crime scene. And they're asking him all these questions like, hey, what about this? What about that? And he's just like, yeah, this. The expression on his face was like, what do you want from me? I don't know what to tell you. This is what I want you to do. Maybe foul at the end of that game. Maybe find a way to have your team, not allow huge runs, especially like you were up 27 points against the Pacers a couple nights ago. Then all of a sudden last night you're up 15 points on the Raptors, and you couldn't close that game out. And the Raptors are allowed to just storm back into this game and actually take a 10-point lead in the 4th quarter on you. That's rough. That's rough. If I look at my order of pissed offness last night, who's on my my poop list? I look at Doc Rivers. I look at James Harden, and I look at the idea that Matisse Thybulle couldn't play in this game. That, to me, that's why they lost. You can't tell me, and you'll hear from Doc, I think it's in this clip, you can't tell me that Matisse playing in this game last night had nothing to do with them, or not playing in this game last night had nothing to do with them losing. I think he would have been better at defending the 3, tell you that much. I think Pascal Siakam would have been at least held up a little bit, maybe not getting a triple-double, maybe not getting 37 points a game high, maybe that. Matisse Thybulle plays in that game. Maybe that's what happens. So I'm just going to take a flyer on that one real quick and say maybe that's not what happens. But I would not be shocked. Well, first off, let me say this with no one has told me this. Doc Rivers is done. After this year. First off, the Sixers are going to be lucky to get to the second round of the playoffs this year. It feels like, and right now, if that's the case, Doc Rivers is gone. There's no return. Both sides have quit on the other. It's more than obvious. I'd love for them to be done now. Like, I don't even want Doc Rivers coaching against the Pacers tomorrow. I don't even want that to happen. You know what I want to happen? I want the Sixers to elevate Dan Burke, have him take over, and the Sixers just play with him for the rest of the year. Doc can enjoy some time off, take over the Lakers job next year, and you go back to LA, go back to their golf courses, and he could have himself a great time. I wanted Doc Rivers here. I admire the guy. I thought you needed to bring in that authoritative guy that everybody respected. Maybe he would be the guy to shake things up with Ben Simmons. Instead, he kissed Ben Simmons' ass all year, praised him beyond what he needed or what was required and worthy. And then as soon as the playoffs happened, mocked the media for suggesting even benching Ben Simmons at the end of the game so they couldn't foul him. And then he goes to the line and misses foul shots. And then he benched him. And we all know the history, whatever. But it's just so unbelievably frustrating. Hey, here's something that's fun. Opening day for the Philadelphia Phillies. Folks, I want to tell you a quick story. About 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Reading, Pennsylvania. I know, you're jealous. And I had a chance to interview Mickey Moniak, who was playing for Reading at the time. And everyone had kind of been talking about that had been following his career about, he was a kid, he needed to grow into a man's body and, really mature and, improve and all that. And I was like, you know what? I've been watching some Reading games and been talking to some people out there. And they said, you really got to come out here and see this guy. So I went out, had a chance to interview him one-on-one. And my takeaway from it was like, this kid has grown up. Like I never thought, and I don't mean that in this kid's so immature, he's taking talent seriously. Not like that at all. Just in terms of physically maturing. It was like, you saw this kid that was drafted number 1 overall by the Phillies. And then you kind of saw this like wiry little teenager trying to figure out professional baseball. And when I saw him and talked to him, I got a sense for a guy that was really wrapping his head around the game. And he comes into this spring training, and he had his struggles. He didn't take the bull by the horns in his opportunities, although limited last year. He didn't take advantage of it, unfortunately. But this year, Kevin Long comes in here as a swing coach. You see him, it's 6 home runs in spring training. And he's playing the field well. He looks like a man out there. And you're thinking, maybe this is the year where he puts it all together. And then we look at it and say, wow, that's why the Phillies took him number 1 overall. And he's doing all of that. And we're championing his cause on the show. I know you guys are on social media and all that. And then in his last at bat of the spring, quote unquote, he breaks his hand. Hairline fracture, out 6 weeks for Mickey Moniak. And like, there are times, man, where like, as a human, you just feel bad for people. And I feel horrible for Mickey Moniak. The guy is clearly put in the work. He's gone to the weight room. He's been in the batting cages. He has been trying and working his ass off to get to the major league level and prove that he is a big league ball player. And he finally gets that news that he's going to be breaking camp as a big league ball player. And this is what happens in the last day. I'm disappointed as a fan of the Phillies that we won't get to watch what he can give this team from jump this season. I feel horrible for him as a human being that he is not going to be on the opening day roster because of his injury. He's not going to be he's not going to be in the starting lineup, I should say, to start the season because of this hand injury. He's expected to miss 6 weeks. I feel terrible for the guy. I'm hoping that when he comes back, he can pick up right from where he left off. And this has just got to be a huge disappointment for him. Like, I think about those moments where a guy like Bryce gets told, hey, what's up, big leaguer? You're going to the show. Or, a guy like, even Mickey Moniak, hey, you're breaking camp with us, whatever it might be. I think about those moments with these guys that are looking for their big opportunity, their big chance. And then they finally get it. I think that's great. And then you hear the stories later about they call mom, they call dad, they call the family, their girlfriend, and they're breaking and crying. It's so great. And then you have the other side of it, the disappointment. And we're all excited for opening day. Believe me, I am too. But I just wanted to mention that about Mickey Moniak, about how I got legit upset about it. Like, I heard the news yesterday, scrolling and saw that, and I just went, like literally heartbreak for the guy. On the other side of things, the more positive side of things, today we will see that lineup come out. And we'll see Kyle Schwarber leading things off for the Phillies, most likely. I like the idea as I had on my roster, on my lineup a couple of weeks ago with our friend Ben Verlander. He gave my lineup an A-. That had Hoskins batting down at the 6th spot behind JT Realmuto. That's, I think, a decent spot for him. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Joe Girardi ends up going with. It looks like he was going with that towards the latter stages of the spring training. We'll see if Hoskins bats in the more coveted 2 spot today. We'll see what they decide to do. Maybe Segura bats in that spot. I think you're going to have Castellanos batting cleanup, and I think Bryce Harper is a lock to bat 3rd in the lineup today. But for me, I just want to see all this come together. I want to see Ranger Suarez prove me wrong, that he can take that, 1 and change ERA that he had in his 12 starts last year and just make that a season. Do that, please. But I also want to see Aaron Nola bounce back. I want to see him get back to the form that we saw as a Cy Young candidate 3 years ago. I want to see Zach Wheeler, when he eventually takes the ball, him go out there and show you that he could be the guy that finished 2nd in the Cy Young voting last year. I want to see that from him. I want to see all this come together because I want to go through this 162-game season. I want to take one thing away from it. The Phillies made the playoffs. And yes, I would love for that to be a more earned thing. Hey, Braves lost yesterday. Phillies could get up on the Braves early. I want to see the Phillies take advantage of this lineup. I want to see this bullpen be the first bullpen that we've had confidence in giving the ball to since 08, 09 with that bullpen that we were able to watch. That's a long time ago, it feels like. I want to see this revamped bullpen look like a bullpen that actually is able to accomplish the goal that Dave Dombrowski set out to accomplish at the start of the offseason, which is actually be successful. All right, we can't have a struggling bullpen anymore. We have somebody we can give the ball to and we feel confident. 8th inning, ninth inning, I need a guy that can able to come in here and close things out every single time. I need that guy to be the guy that you can have confidence. Oh, here goes another blown save. No, I need a guy to come in here and you have confidence when you hand him that baseball. They have the new look. They didn't come back here with the same thing. The lineup is the best indicator of that. I need the bullpen to be a lot different as well. That and the lineup and the bullpen are the 2 things that have changed the most since last year. Let's make that bear fruit. And one of the best things is more of an off the diamond in the clubhouse type of thing. This is Bryce Harper's team. This is a changing of the guard that happened last year, as I've mentioned many times on the show over the last couple of weeks leading up to today, the opening day. This is the day, or this is the season that this is officially Bryce Harper's team. And I know you can always talk about the $330 million man. Of course, it's his team. No. When Hoskins was out last year, Harper took over. He is now the captain of this team as far as I'm concerned. As corny as I think captaincies are in baseball, he's the captain of this squad right now. It's up to Bryce Harper to lead this team to the playoffs. That's from a clubhouse. That's from a on-field standpoint. The person under the most pressure this year going into opening day and beyond is Joe Girardi. Doesn't have another year left of his deal. This is the year he has to go out there and prove it. He was the guy that was brought in to get this team over the hump when it comes to what Pete Buchanan couldn't do, when it comes to certainly Ryan Sandberg couldn't do, when it comes to what Gabe Kapler couldn't do. He needs to get this team back to the playoffs. That's what Joe Girardi is charged with this year. Last year, I looked at it and I said, going into September, this is why Joe Girardi was hired, to avoid these September collapses. Keep these guys together, keep these guys focused, keep these guys doing what they're supposed to be doing, knowing who's going to be the right bat to go to at the right time, the right arm to go to in the bullpen at the right time. That's all up to Joe Girardi. He did not do that last year. Bryce Hoskins was out. He had injuries, of course. Guys broke down. I get that. But this is a season where if all the aesthetics look right going into that final month of the season in September, I'm going to be looking at Joe saying, if it's close, you got to be the difference maker. You got to get these guys on the field playing well. You got to get guys in the dugout ready to play, and you got to get guys in the bullpen that are going to be ready to take that ball when you need them. That's what it comes down to for Joe Girardi. The guy with the most pressure under him, we can talk about the bullpen. We can talk about Knebel as a closer. We can talk about Suarez, proving himself as a big league ball player, big league pitcher. We can talk about Aaron Nola proving he's a Cy Young candidate again, and Zach Wheeler and all. We can talk about all of it. The guy that's under the most pressure right now is Joe Girardi. That man is in hot water from jump this season. He'll be under evaluation this entire year. by the Phillies front office and by fans. Get him over the hump, Joe. You want to go over the luxury tax as ownership? Your manager better win. That's all. That's what it comes down to. We're giving you the pieces. We're spending the money. Give us something good in return. And that's all up to Joe Girardi. Let me show. I wanted to get this to you real quick before we talk to our man, Michael Barkan, about all things opening day in the Phillies. My number. I want to make sure I give you guys. I want to give you guys my number. I'll give you guys that a little bit later in the show. Number of wins for the Phillies this year. But before we get into the more uplifting thing, I did want to let you see Doc Rivers after the game last night. Here's Doc trying to answer questions about what the hell happened in last night's game.
You know, so it's a frustrating loss.
That's happened with them losing a couple games.
Yeah.
Has there been a common reason for that?
No, it's been all kinds of reasons for that. You know, number one, at one point they were just scoring every time. You know, but we can still get the ball up and out quicker. You know, change sides of the floor better. We'll do it. We're close, and I can see it.
With the individual defense, you obviously did not have Matisse tonight.
Matisse had nothing to do with this game. We'd have lost the game with Matisse.
It just seems like you said, things got away from y'all early on, and then it just seems like in the fourth quarter, you got Maxey played well, but
Maxey played great. You know, in space, we couldn't get stops. You know, Siakam, give him credit; he was phenomenal tonight.
Pascal Siakam doesn't shoot 8 for 10 in this game. Excuse me, 14 for 28 in this game. Was Trent Jr., of course, does not play. Gary Trent Jr. does not shoot 12 for 21. Certainly doesn't shoot 5 for 8 from beyond the arc. Like, that doesn't happen if Matisse Thybulle is in this game. And as a team, as I told you earlier, the Toronto Raptors certainly aren't shooting 52, almost 53% from beyond the arc in the game last night. Like, that should be 45% from beyond the arc last night. That's not happening with Matisse Thybulle in the game. So I think, yes, he had a lot to do with it. But when you look at Doc, like, for the people on the podcast, Doc looks like a guy who is just beaten down. A guy who is just, they don't want me here. I don't want to be here. Why am I here? That's not exactly a recipe for success going into the playoffs. And as a guy that is not always going down the alley of fire the coach, I don't really know what the other option is. And as far as James Harden goes, as I told you about my pecking order, Doc Rivers, James Harden, and then Thybulle not being able to play in this game. For me, I just don't know what you do with James Harden at this point. As the optimist in me wants to say, oh, he's resting because he wants to be ready for the playoffs. They don't care about getting a 50th win just yet. That'll come against the Pacers, right? Wouldn't be so sure. So as you're watching Harden go, he continues to go down this slippery slope and continue to fall. I don't see this bounce back performance from James Harden. I don't know what it is with him right now. I don't know if it's just late in the season, older player, he's cooked. I don't know if it's a combination of that and the way they call fouls now, and he can't draw those fouls. He's certainly not what he used to be as far as quickness. We talked before about Brian Windhorst's stat that he put out there the other day about how James Harden 2 years ago had one of the best blow-by rates in all of basketball, and now this year he is a middle-of-the-pack type of guy. In terms of blowing by a defender one-on-one, that percentage has dropped considerably. Yeah, he ain't what he used to be. And I'm hoping that this strict facilitator role that he has dropped into isn't the guy that we're going to see in the playoffs. I hope that's not him surrendering to the fact that he doesn't have it anymore, and this is the only way he can help the team from this point on. I mean, he talked last night about spacing. Spacing's not going to be good or as good for James Harden when he's not hitting that outside shot. Guys are going to be able to sag off him a little bit. They're going to be able to play help defense for whoever James Harden is going to be trying to assist on a given play. And the way James Harden himself tried to close this game out last night was awful. Both for an air ball 3 from the top of the key and then turning the ball over on when he was trying to penetrate. Those were 2 plays at the end of this game that James Harden can't make when this Sixers team is trying to make a push to win. Horrible taste in my mouth. Thank goodness the Phillies are on today. 3:05 start time. We can get excited about that. You know what else I get excited about? Retirement. And you might think, it's down the line. ladies and gentlemen, get ready now. Take advantage of your accumulation years so that your distribution years are easier. That's what my man Mike Seibert will tell you about. Retirement income certified professional Mike Seibert at Destination Retirement LLC, a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. And maybe the Flyers next year. Hey, Flyers won last night. On a night that the Sixers were terrible. Flyers won. A 4-1 victory? What would it be, fellas? When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up the current enjoyment of your income? The answer is to have an income stream in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. The objective is not just to get to the top of the mountain, but also safely back down the mountain as well. Going up the mountain is the accumulation phase. Going down the mountain is the distribution phase. These are the two different phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Have you ever thought about how it'll affect your retirement? Let Mike Seibert at DestinationRetirement.com. Let him show you an effective and efficient way to help pay for your kids' college and still retire on your own terms. Your first step to avoid starting your growth cycle over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over. You can't get that time back. Instead, set up yourself right now with Mike Seibert with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out now about how your annual retirement savings can help you with your college savings, and then your annual college savings can help you with your retirement savings. Michael, set up your own portal and retirement analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds@1847financial.com, or call this office right now at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit the website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. And hopefully, eventually, we'll play the song once more. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Do what I do for all your big jewelry purchases. Head to Steven Singer Jewelers at IHateStevenSinger.com, especially right now for the beautiful gold dip rose. The new color, creamsicle gold dip rose. Just makes you think of summertime and having yourself a wonderful time. Mom giving you a couple of bucks to go out there to the ice cream truck, get some kind of creamsicle. Fantastic. The creamsicle rose, do not try to eat it, though. You might want to. It looks delicious. But it's dipped in 24-karat gold, and it's just beautiful. The perfect gift for mom for Mother's Day, or for the mother of your children for Mother's Day. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Gold dip roses dipped in 24-karat gold. Last a lifetime. Lifetime guarantee, and they come with a custom note as well. So take advantage of this right now at Steven Singer Jewelers. They start at just $59 at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Coming up a little bit later, after we talk to my man Michael Barkan, we're going to, I'm going to give you my official number for the Phillies this year and whether or not they will make the playoffs. We'll talk about that coming up in a minute. But right now, let's get to my friend Michael Barkan as he joins us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. How's your day going? It's about to get better. One of the best ever. One of my favorite people. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Barkan, NBC Sports Philadelphia. What's up, Michael?
Farzy in the field. What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me on.
I've
been doing this for 10 years. This is my first time. Unbelievable. Oh dear. By the way, do you like the house?
I love that. It looks beautiful. Did you remodel? Did you remodel a little bit?
By the way, that brickwork, that is natural stone. It's Pennsylvania bluestone, and I did it myself. Okay.
Well, you put in the work, my friend. There's no task. There's no task that you won't do, my friend.
Yeah. Wait, can you clear the dog out of here? Okay. I'm in the sunken living room.
Oh.
And yeah. So I'm sorry.
No.
Sometimes Benji and Raven just get to max. We have 3. Get to be too much. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. For those that are not following the great Michael Barkan, here's how you do that on social media. Please do that. Now, if you're a Philadelphia sports fan and you're not following Michael Barkan, what are you doing with your life? That's the question I always ask.
Something good. Something beneficial.
Something good.
By the way, that photo, I'm very proud to say I took that photo myself. It was a wide angle shot on the old eye right there at the top.
Oh,
And
okay.
obviously, it's the culmination of the Eagles parade and the ceremony on the steps of the art museum. And, you know, that is something that will live with all of us as long as we live. What a day that was. So I have that as my, I forget what I had, a sunset or whatever. But what can you imagine that? That would have be fitting. The art museum for what was art, sports art back then. Magnificent. And
I often think of the big hipsters. Not that you have to be a hipster to be into art,
yes, man.
but like people have hung signs on the Rocky statue that say "Go see the art." What were those people saying when like 2 million people were on the Parkway, being like, "Yeah, football." Like that's it. All it was a stage for our parade.
Yeah. Or what were those same people saying when they watched Rocky? You know, yeah, Rocky, are you kidding me? Yeah, but they'll go see the art. What do you think that was? It was cinema art.
It's cinema, baby.
Yes.
What would Sammy Davis Jr. say if he was
I
around?
mean that. He'd say it's a groove thing, man.
I mean,
have a rock at the bottom of the stairs of the art museum, man. It's groovy. I love it.
If the two cats can't jive to the same tune, babe.
Exactly.
One of them's got to go.
Pardon me. I have to listen to some Mel Torme now, man. I mean, that. The Velvet Fog. I'm having my second bar mitzvah coming up next Saturday. I mean it. By the way, let me see the Farzy mug. That is established you as a legend. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I've got: a Philadelphia street map glass. Okay, that's all I have right here. Okay.
Well, there you go. When you drink enough of those, you'll know where you're going. Huh? Anyway. All right. Well, that's the interview. Just you and me cracking each other up.
To be there. He was going off the Philadelphia street map class. What the heck?
See, what people don't realize, Michael, is that you're like this all the time.
Wait, tell me when we're on. Okay, tell me when we're on the air.
Okay, I'll tell you when you're on. Your birthday, literally the first day of your life, you have been on. There's been no off switch since then.
I don't know what it is. My mom had videos of me. It's just doing this. I swear to God. I'm still doing it. Turns out I have Tourette's. Okay, stop it.
All right.
That's terrible. Sorry,
so,
Tourette's people.
Hey, here's something I learned. NBC Sports Philadelphia. You, my friend, there's going to be 152 Phillies games, regular season games set to air on the NBC family of networks, 135 on NBC Sports Philadelphia, with my man Pots and Pans, Michael Barkan, pre and post right there. Ricky Batalico, Ben Davis, all sorts of talent right there next to you, my friend. How excited are you for the upcoming Phillies season with this lineup at hand?
Farzy, I'm thrilled, and I'm so excited, and I know you feel the same way that either I'm so into having baseball back, or I'm wishing for baseball to come back, because baseball means no school. Baseball means summer. Baseball is the greatest. It's the greatest soap opera in America. It's every single day. And the drama, I know it's each game is one of 162, but the drama that we see, the boredom that we see, the excitement that we see, it's just like we live our lives. And each game is a beginning, a middle, and an end, and we don't know how it's going to end, and we don't know how, like life, we don't know how long it's going to take. And so I'm very excited. And this is to me, in no small way, it's the beginning of summer, and it goes right on through till fall. And we know what happens sometimes in fall. It's been a long time. I was thinking about that the other day, how long it's been. And you have two beautiful children now. You know how quickly everything goes. And I'm thinking, it's been 13 years since to me, it feels like really 2 weeks ago. But it's been 13 years since they won a World Series. And no, excuse me. 13 years since they were last since 2011, their last playoff entry.
Right.
And that's way too long. So I'm hoping maybe it's going to be different. But just going out to the ballpark, just listening to the game. I remember before I was doing pregame and postgame, and I was just doing DNL, or I was just doing odd pregame and postgame shows here and there, just being home on a summer night and having the ball game on in the background. Sometimes you were paying close attention, sometimes you weren't. But it was always something that kept you company, whether it was Harry or now with Tommy Mack. And that's just a beautiful thing. And I've always looked forward to it since I've been a little boy, listening on the radio or watching TV.
You mentioned the last time this Phillies team made it to the playoffs. That was a pretty damn good lineup back in the day.
Yeah.
How do you think this current Phillies lineup compares to lineups of Phillies past?
Well, that's to be determined, but I think this lineup is the best one that they have had since Chase and Jimmy left. And let's face it, Chase and Jimmy were long in the tooth at the time they left. You've got guys in the primes of their careers, and that is huge. And however Joe Girardi chooses to order them, I think you actually could have two mini lineups, like 1 through 4 with a number 9. When's the last time that they had that, when you really could think, I can count on this maybe? And you know what happens in 1 through 9. I mean, somebody's on fire and somebody's slumping, and when you've got enough bats as they seem to, you got the potential to win a lot of ball games. And just looking around on the internet last couple of days, I know, for example, Sports Illustrated, I believe they had 6 writers giving their previews, and half of them had the Phillies in the playoffs. Now they had them as first round ousters, but I'll take it. It's like the next step, and you just don't know. So I think there's a lot to be excited about, and the big question obviously is going to be their pitching, and we'll see what happens with that.
That is certainly going to be a question. So I'll ask you this: if you had to make a prediction on which version of Aaron Nola we get, which one do you think we get?
I think we well, obviously, I hope we get the Cy Young candidate, Aaron Nola. But what's happened the last several years with him, and I believe even that Cy Young season, when he hits September, there's all this talk about how he loves to pitch in the heat, and he's from Louisiana, and it seems to be not the case. I hope he's in better shape. I hope that whatever happens, I hope he wins the Cy Young. Hope they all do. But I hope when they're down the stretch at the end of September, that he is there and available to be counted on, because they're going to need him. And it's a what have you done for me lately business, baseball, all sports, and certainly the business we're in. What have you done for us lately? And Aaron Nola, unfortunately, has done way less than we've thought he should be able to do. So I don't know if it's injury. You know what I always say, buddy? I always say no one likes to talk about injuries because they're not sexy. No one wants to hear about the injuries. They should be able to score 30 points a game. They should be able to bat 300. They should be able to run for 100 yards every game. I don't care about the hamstring, the ankle, but it's just not so. So you got a guy like Aaron Nola. I hope he's okay. Certainly Zach Wheeler's not. He's going to be delayed a little bit. And then when you look at Zach Eflin, he's another guy. You know how many times I said to Zach Eflin, you know what? If he could do that consistently, he'd be a Cy Young candidate. And I said it on the air, and he would be. But then he falls off. But then he had a knee issue. And again, if you're a professional athlete, you're trying to hide that stuff. You don't want your competition to know. And so you sit there as an observer saying, what the heck's wrong with Eflin? Well, it turns out he has knee trouble, had to have surgery. So I'm hoping they at least Wheeler, Nola, and Eflin can keep it together, and they're going to need other guys. And I remember way back when it was Schmidt, and they had traded for or signed Lance Parrish back in '87, and someone said you can't win games 12-10 every day in baseball. So they're going to hit, but let's not forget about the pitching. So.
Did you ever think, Michael, that you would see the Phillies go over the luxury tax? Because I never thought I'd see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I never thought I'd see the Phillies go over the luxury tax.
I did, only because John Middleton said so. And when you say we're going to spend stupid money, and yell that out to the world, then I think people have some expectations. And they thought he was going to be George Steinbrenner Jr. Right. And I thought, hey, that's great. Look, do we care? The worst thing I could talk about in sports is it's good salary cap talk. No one wants to talk about it. It's boring. It's not our money. But yes, I thought that if it was money that they deemed spent in the right direction, that they would pay for whatever it takes. So no, I'm not surprised. I'm glad they did it. It's not our money, and we know in Philadelphia, if you win it, they will come. And I think that's what's in store for the Phillies this season. I really do.
Excellent. So do you think the Phillies make the postseason this year?
I do think they make the postseason. It might be close. I do think they do. Our friend Corey Seidman at NBC Sports Philadelphia and NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. He sent us all this little questionnaire the other day, and it's how many wins do you think the Phillies have? And I said 90, which I know is ambitious. The last question was how many games does Jacob deGrom start? And I went 0, baby, 0. And again, I don't want to see anybody hurt.
I understand. Right. No, he just gets lost. He can't find the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
He doesn't have your cup. He doesn't have your glass.
Exactly. You have this glass. You are never at a loss for a drink or for directions. Oh my God.
Last thing for you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
I normally like to prep people for this, but I know you're a man for all seasons, and I have every bit of confidence you will play Fast Five with me. Will you play Fast Five? 5 random questions.
I will endeavor to. I don't know if I'll be successful. I might have a lot of I don't knows next question.
There's no wrong answers, my friend. Let's bring in the band, fellas. You want to start it up here? You want to start the band? You want to go here a little bit here, fellas? Any minute now would be nice. There we go. All right, the band is here. Michael Barkan plays Fast Five on the Farzy Show.
I call it Farzy 5.
Farzy 5.
Want to play Farzy 5?
Best, no lie, Michael. That's what I originally called it, but I felt too much of a narcissist, so I stopped calling it.
Well, it is, and I know you have a mirror right there. You look great, by the way. It's staring into a mirror, folks.
Michael, best job before your TV jobs. What was your best job when Michael Barkan was growing up?
Ooh, it had to be working at Pat's Pizza, Harvey Cedars, New Jersey. Came in with the gloves on. My mom, Jewish mother, she's like, you can't go wash dishes without it. Your hands are gonna get raw. So she gave me these rubber gloves. Felt like I was going into surgery. You know, I felt like I was a proctologist. I go into Pat's Pizza. This is the days before dishwashers. I was the dishwasher. The problem with the rubber gloves that I had rubber banded right here so the water couldn't get in is the forks and the knives that pierced them. So basically I'm washing the dishes and my hands are soaking and to the bone. They just peeled, my skin just peeled off at the end of the night, but I love Pat's Pizza.
Yeah, okay, that's a great one. Go to fast food place when Michael Barkan's feeling saucy. Where are we going?
You know, that's so tough because I love them all. I haven't been eating them all. I'm trying to get the weight down, but I love McDonald's. I love Burger King, but my new favorite is Chick-fil-A. Wow. I love a spicy chicken Chick-fil-A sandwich with some, I forget all the cheeses. I think they have Colby Jack. The Colby Jack and the Chick-fil-A sauce and a pickle.
Okay. All right. Now, you are married to a woman that I only like to refer to as Miss Perfect because Ellen is just a tremendous human being. But in your dating days, what was the first date deal breaker for Michael Barkan? The lady does this, and you're like, I'm out. Rude to the wait staff, talk too much, whatever. What's a first date deal breaker?
I guess just boring would be the first. You know what I mean? Unable to have a conversation. That would be. I don't care how gorgeous she is. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the figure. I care about do you have a personality? Do you know what's going on in the world? And do you like to have fun? And oh, you know what else? I'll tell you first date deal breaker. And this would be for you as well. Do you like food? Do you like to eat? Do you push away and say, oh, I can't eat that because I'm watching? No. I want an eater, man. And so that's boredom and food. If you're boring and you don't like food, you're out.
Got it.
My wife likes them both.
I've seen you guys out. She has a rack of ribs every time. It's amazing.
I gotta tell you what, she gets on a scale, the car comes out, says 1 at a time, you know. I tell this joke. I got it from Ben Davis, and I only tell it because I tell it publicly when she's in the audience. And I vow to myself each time, I'm never going to tell it again. It's cruel, even though it's funny. And I always say, my wife Ellen is here. We've been married for 29 years. It's gone by like 29 minutes underwater. You know? And everyone laughs, and she's always like, that's mean. So I'm not telling that again.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke.
That's water. That's Ben Davis. Yeah, I'm sorry. Where are we?
Number 4. Favorite city to travel to?
Oh shoot, that's good. Boston's good. San Francisco, I love.
Oh,
I guess
San
New Orleans. You know why? Again, going back to the food thing.
Food, yeah.
The New Orleans, they truly. I know it's a way in which they make a living, but they truly treat food as love. And they want you to come in and sample it. You've been to New Orleans, I'm assuming.
Yes, many times.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I love New Orleans and just how festive it is, etc.
Oof, such a fantastic place. Had some crocodile. I had some crocodile. No, wait, alligator. I had alligator in New Orleans.
Had the leftovers, put them on my shoes.
Last one. Michael Barkan, you're a hell of a man. You're a gentleman, and I love you. But what makes you beep your horn in traffic?
Somebody breathes wrong.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I'm so bad. I am so bad, and I'm trying to get better. And I'm like, you know what it is? I think part of it is I'm competitive. In high school, I would walk the hallways, and I would in my head I was playing a game that I had to continue to go forward. But I would walk as fast as I could, dodging everybody, and the object was I would never stop, and I would definitely never go backwards, and I would try to make it to my next class like I was an open field runner, like I was Brian Westbrook, weaving through and so it's kind of similar when I drive. So when someone slows me up or someone's not paying attention, doesn't take much, man. You're gonna read about me one day.
This interview will be submitted as evidence.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to calm it down, baby.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's sell the band. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. You guys can cut. Take the rest of the day off.
Band.
Appreciate it. They were piping today. I do want to get this in. Two things real quick. Let's see. 152 Phillies games, regular season games will air on the NBC Sports Network of Families, and another band is starting up. Get out of here!
Stop it, band.
Jeez, this band just doing whatever they damn well please. Who's in charge around here? But you guys have got mellow all of a sudden. 152 games. Phillies games set to air on the NBC Sports Network of Families. You have 135 on NBC Sports Philadelphia, 12 on NBC 10, and you have 5 on NBC Sports Philadelphia Plus. And then, Michael Barkan, you have a golf outing coming up soon.
Yes.
And it's benefiting a great charity. What's that for, my friend?
Thank you very much. We have a family charity. It's called the Barkann Foundation. Actually, it's called the Barkann Family Healing Hearts Foundation. And we give money and we give sustenance to people who have suffered catastrophes in our area, whatever it might. A lot of times it's to police, firefighters, but it's also to anyone who has really suffered a significant loss in their lives. We give them a little something to help them through it. We get a lot of our referrals from social workers at various hospitals in our area, and we've been around for 10 years this year. And we're having our golf outing. We'd love to see you out there. I know, Marc Farzetta, you're blessing us with your presence. We appreciate it. It's the BarkannFoundation.org, the BarkannFoundation.org, and the money is well spent. We don't keep it. It doesn't go to like administrative fees. It's out in the community.
It'll go to your future traffic tickets, though. Some of it, just a small portion.
Yeah, or my funeral fees.
Michael, I love you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Great catching up with you.
Back at you. Thanks, Farzy.
Watch Michael Barkan, NBC Sports Philadelphia, cover all things Phillies and a bunch of other things as well. Michael Barkan joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
When Michael said that the girl has to have a personality, I was like, imagine a lady showing up to a first date with Michael Barkan and she's got to match that energy. What? Impossible. You're setting the bar high, my friend. You're setting the bar high. But yes, Michael's always like that. He's right there all the time, especially like there's no middle gear. There's like the car's on 100 miles an hour. Like that's how it is all the time. Miss that guy. He's an awesome dude. And great charity. I've had the fortune of being able to play in that golf outing a couple of times over the years, and just they do great things, man. They do great things, and it's such a professional event. It's like an awesome event in its own right. It's pretty great. But yeah, good catch up with Michael. And 91 wins. He's thinking 91 wins for the Phillies. I'm going to go ahead and take the over on that one. If you're setting it at, let's say 90.5, and I did bet this. I think I got them they were 88.5. And I bet the over for that. So I'm definitely hitting the over for that. But yeah, we'll give you my number before we get out of here. And in our morning rush segment, we have a nice little piece of Eagles news that came out yesterday that we'll talk about as well. But right now, let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopedics. Sunday, I'm playing with my friends over at Jacob Media. I am playing in a basketball tournament or tournament. That implies many games, like that ball hockey tournament I played in with my friends at Nasty Knuckles there, Nasty and Riggs. This is one game that I'll be playing in. It's a basketball game. I hope to get footage so you guys can see my pristine shooting form one more time. But I'll be playing this tournament God, I did it again. This game on Sunday, and I look forward to doing it because I love the sport of basketball. I will be very sore still, probably come Monday morning. And that's when I'll call my good friends at Rothman Orthopedics. Remember the old you? The one that didn't have to play in one basketball game and then be in pain for the rest of the week? Remember the old you, the one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder that no longer did what a shoulder should do? How about this? Call the Rothman Orthopedics people, because the Rothman approach to orthopedics is where you get to go back to being you. Back to running, back to walking, back to working, back to playing, back to shooting hoops the way you used to. Thanks to Rothman, thanks to the Rothman approach to orthopedics. You get to live your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people at WinView, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all? Who is the biggest sports fan? You have those friends and family members who think they know everything about sports. Challenge them to a WinView contest. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. It's the perfect way to add an extra layer of competition to any fantasy league you might be in. Starting up fantasy baseball league, you might be able to get involved in some WinView as well. You don't need to be. WinView can be its own thing. Download it to your phone right now and have yourself a good time with the WinView app. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where you can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love. Download the WinView app right now to your phone. Have yourself a good time. Let me tell you right now about the awesome people at PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. It's time for the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? First, you know what? I was going to say this for the morning rush. I'm going to hit this right now in case you guys want to hit this later on in the chat. Tyrann Mathieu, yes or no to the Philadelphia Eagles? They had a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting. Apparently went well. Eagles are set to be in pursuit. Brandon Cooks, they were in pursuit of. He re-signed with the Texans, so that's not happening. Tyrann, the Honey Badger, patrolling the secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles. I have said earlier in the week that he ain't what he used to be, and that's certainly true. However, he's better what the Eagles have now. And at this point in free agency, you might be able to get him at a decent price. So why not try to get him? Falconator 51. The first chatter of the day. Well, I'm usually one of the last ones in here, not the first. Well, Falconator, I can only assume you had a late night, my friend. Not such an early morning, but a late night. Kevin, what's going on, Kevin? Nice to see you. Mullet, what's popping? Nice to see you. Falconator, the local media, and a lot of fans out here in L.A. Falconator 51 is in L.A., by the way. He is saying that a lot of people in L.A. want Doc as the head coach of the Lakers, and that includes Clippers fans. That's pretty funny. Jim Grassmeter. Good morning, all. Good morning to you. Mally, what's up? Sean, how you doing? Jim, hello again. Harden is cooked. His shot looks so bad. That air ball last night with about a minute left, I was like, what are we doing here? Are we going to keep doing this? Is this how James Harden's going to be? Because that was scary. Paul, good morning. How are you? Ray, what's going on? It looks like Harden's heart is not in the game. All he's worried about is his assists. Danny Green outscores Harden. How about that? Danny Green goes back to Canada land, gets his championship ring from the quadruple doink game, and season, I should say, and drops, what was he, like what was his final tally last night? Actually, I'll put it up here on the screen for all you fine people. You see where we were at last night. Danny Green was 6 for 7 from beyond the arc for 18 points. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, he had himself a hell of a game last night. And you know who didn't have a hell of a game? James Harden. And like I said earlier, I really hope that James Harden focusing on his assists isn't him surrendering to the idea that he just doesn't have it anymore. Because then if that's the case, then there's no chance we get the James Harden that we saw in the honeymoon stage when he was here with the Sixers, when he just got here, because that honeymoon's over. We all know that. That's not good. And that answers any question. By the way, let me just get this out of the way. If this is James Harden now, there's no way in hell he's getting a contract extension with the Sixers of anything close to what his max extension could be. If he's getting an extension from the Sixers, it means he really wants to be here and he really wants to come cheap. That's what I'm feeling. Because this ain't it. This ain't it. You know, Mally, I think this is where you and I have disagreed on. The day Harper signed that contract, it became his team. In the eyes of the front office, probably. But I think what matters more is the eyes of the team. Like, I still think people, and I think even Harper, he was coming to someone else's team. And then I think in that month that Hoskins didn't play at the end of last year, that's when everything officially transitioned to his team. Mally, when I see the news on Moniak, felt bad for him. I believe he'll come back smashing the ball. I hope so, man. Ray, I hope you're. I agree with you that Harden looks cooked. Mally wants Ricky Vaughn. Ray, that's a good point. Girardi and Rivers could both end up coaching elsewhere next year. Yeah, if the seasons don't end the right way. It's crazy to think that Sirianni is the best coach in Philly. Mally, you're absolutely right. Sean is very frustrated. Duck Rivers has to go. Harden deserves at least another year to see if it's his hamstring, age, or not enough time with the team. Well, that's the thing. If he signs a 1-year deal, so the Sixers can obviously, or he can choose to opt in to that next deal, or he could rework a deal. I doubt he's going to rework a deal. I think he's going to end up opting into that last year of his deal, though. And then after that, if the Sixers choose to sign him beyond next year, then I got to see how he plays next year. If it is the hamstring, fine. Maybe that's why he's slowing down. But I don't know. I hope that's it. I hope it's just a matter of getting that hamstring healthy, and then he's 100%. But here's what I'd do if I'm the Sixers. And I know, well, regardless, here's what I do. I don't play James Harden the rest of the year. I give him as much time off to feel better and feel 100% before the playoffs start up. And I spare Joel Embiid's minutes. Joel Embiid's going for a scoring title. We all know that. And right now, the way I look at it, I would give these guys as much of a break going forward as humanly possible. The guy that I would be most concerned with, just overall health and how he's going to do as the season winds down, without question, is James Harden. I want for him to be in the best possible shape when the playoffs start as possible. Let me answer this question for people. Michael Barkan was in front of a green screen. That was not his house. And so I use the streaming software StreamYard for the show. And that's a generic background in the StreamYard library of backgrounds. And we were joking that I was going to put the same background behind me. And it would be like we were in the, are you in my house? Oh, that's generic. He asked if this was a green screen. And I know I blew some people's minds when I ripped this off the wall the other day to compare it to my very dark red shirt, my maroon shirt that I had on Monday. But yeah, all that's real fake brick. That's real fake brick behind me. They ain't no green screen. And these are actual shelves. All right. Morning, Alyssa. What's going on, Alyssa? Hello. Fieldy. What's up, Fieldy? Sean, Barkann is definitely drinking what Farzy is drinking. I remember, so I think I've told you guys before. When I was at NBC, I bought an office espresso machine. I bought it for the office. And it was, of course, I put it in our break area, our break room. And I would give, let's see, who would be the Ricky Metallico and I would, like, every time we saw each other, we'd have an espresso, pretty much. I got concerned looks from people when I offered an espresso to Michael Barkan. They were like, "You want to give him an espresso? You want to put more energy in that tank? Are you nuts?" And he enjoyed it. I will just say he enjoyed it. Mally, they should bring back Daily News Live. It was a classic show, absolutely. Ray, I don't know the reason why they. I don't know what the reason was. Oh, Ray, you don't know the reason why they didn't bring back Daily News Live. Well, they had Daily News Live. Then they flipped it to Philly Sports Talk when like NBC and Comcast became one. And Michael did a great job with the show. And then they brought Amy and I in for like a little less than a year to try to give the show a new look. And basically what happened is, and this isn't, I'm not breaking news, NBC just got rid of most non-game centric programming. So then I became like a feature reporter. Amy was anchoring and hosting pre and post games and stuff like that. And that was it. Like it wasn't a decision that was made locally. Let's put it that way. It was a decision that was made from other people that are not local. There you go. Let's see. It was a classic show. I used to watch that show all the time. I watched Michael. And his last show, before they handed it over to Amy and I, his last show, this is how he and I, it's just the same wavelength, man. Johnny Carson is someone I've always looked up to. And if you know who Johnny Carson is, just YouTube him. He was the best. But Johnny Carson, at the end of his run hosting the Tonight Show, he said, if I could somehow magically, I'd like to do the whole thing all over again. Like that's like the greatest line to what do you call it? Sum up the joy you've had. For Carson, I think it was like 30 years, 32 years. For Michael, it was 20 some years. Like the fun he had doing the show. He said the same line at the end of his last show hosting Daily News Live. Like that, like to me, I was just like, I love this guy. And he could not have been a better guy, a better mentor, and all that stuff while I was over there. But yeah, it was a great show. I wish they would bring that show back. And that's not for me. That's just in general. Man, I used to love watching Daily News Live. April, what's up, April? How are you? Sorry if I missed you if you commented before. Oh, April, I'm saying good morning, Mally. There you are. April. Morning, everyone. So excited for today. April, absolutely. Happy opening day. Let's see. Alex, what's up? Good morning. Thomas, what's going on? Now we're talking about the brick again. Yes, it wasn't Crocodile, Mac. My apologies. It was Alligator. Rick, it's a party in here. When is it not? Alyssa, network of families, Farzy? There's a network of families. Family of networks. Mi scusi. Mark, remember, after that last jump shot, your shoulder hasn't been right. It looks like Farzy has a covered grill behind him. Is that what that looks like? It totally does. It looks like, yeah, that's where my... When I'm done here, I'm just burgers and fries. I just burgers, fries, hot dogs, yeah. Harden is depressing. My holy king, what's up? Where you been? Harden is depressing. It was depressing, especially late in the fourth quarter last night. Sean Gillespie, Honey Badger, take him. He may be older, but his experience and leadership can help, hopefully. I hope so as well. He's what, 29? That's so crazy to think about a 29-year-old, but that's sports. That's old. Sixers are killing me mentally. Keep picturing Duck Rivers and his infinite success. Sean, you're not far off. And I know I'm picking up on your sarcasm. I'm going to use a couple of Duck Rivers excuses at work sometime. Sean, why not? I recommend it for everybody. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Let's move into our morning rush. Brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. I already told you, Brandon Cooks back with the Texans. He's not coming to the Eagles. I know that was out there yesterday that there was interest. Not happening. He's with the Texans. Honey Badger, very much on the Eagles' radar. Do the deal. Sign him. Bring him in. Love to have him in our secondary along with Darius Slay. Our man, Zach McPherson. How much fun was Zach McPherson earlier in the week, by the way? A blast to talk to him. Love to see those two in the secondary in the Honey Badger. Darius Slay, obviously, already. And the Eagles still need to get help in the wide receiving realm. I think they draft a wide receiver. I don't think it'll be early in this draft. And how about this little nugget that I haven't mentioned yet? Malik Willis, the Sixers are still kicking the tires on. Their coach over there at Liberty came out recently and said that Howie Roseman, well, I shouldn't say Howie, the Eagles are still making calls on Willis to see if they want him, if they want to draft him in Philadelphia. Imagine this for a second, this whole conversation about waiting till next year to draft a quarterback, and the Eagles won't do that this year. Oh, the Eagles are going to wait another year to draft a quarterback. If they think they see the guy, as they did with Carson Wentz, they're going to go get that guy. And they got the draft capital to do it. Still, even without the 3 first-round picks this year, they still have 2, and they still have another one next year. They have 2 more next year, I should say. They have another second-round pick next year as well. They got the capital to go up there and get the guy they want. And if that's Willis, and they're still kicking the tires, first off, what another kick to the gut of Jalen Hurts. But second, if that's who the Eagles think can come in here and be better immediately, then make it happen. Then do the deal. I still want to see how this 1 year goes under Jalen Hurts to see if you have the guy. I thought he was pretty impressive last year. He takes some steps forward. All of a sudden, you're talking about a guy that you can have some confidence in for the foreseeable future. And if you don't, then you still have the capital next year to go get that guy. So for me, I think that's still the smarter play. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here is my official number for the Philadelphia Phillies. This year, I can see the Phillies. I predict that the Phillies will win more than the 88.5 I got them at. I do predict that the Phillies will win more than the 91 games that our friend Michael Barkan just said that they would win. I think the Phillies win 93 games for you this year, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we bask in the glory of a very fun, exciting, nail-biting, home run smashing type of season from the Philadelphia Phillies that puts them in the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Mainly because of their lineup, hopefully because of their bullpen and starting pitching is pretty on point and their defense is okay. But mainly because of that lineup. And because of the fact that the Major League Baseball decided to extend their, expand their playoffs, as we know. But I see the Phillies making the playoffs this year. So make it happen. Happy opening day, everybody. Go enjoy it today. Baskin and Aaron Nola on the bump for the Philadelphia Phillies as they take on the Oakland A's. 3:05 start time. I'll be back with you guys on Monday. Enjoy opening day and all the blessings that come with it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. If you're going down to the game, enjoy the hell out of yourself, all right? You've earned it. Have a great day, everybody. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to my man, Michael Barkan. Always a pleasure catching up with him. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My thanks to Steven Singer from the Steven Singer Studios. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you on Monday. See ya.